want to talk about humility, something which really isn't very popular 21st century Western culture. Jesus talks an awful lot about humility. He talks about the need for us to be humble, to humble ourselves. He talks about the need for us to be like little children. And you've got to remember that little children in Jesus' day were people with absolutely no status, no importance whatsoever. And Jesus said we had to be like them. And the other thing, of course, he said is that we have to be servants of each other. He didn't say these things once or twice. He said them a dozen times in the course of the Gospels. They're recorded as him saying these things. And of course, he also set the example of being a servant. He set the example of serving others, and he deliberately drew attention to the fact that he was doing that, perhaps particularly when he was washing the disciples' feet, as recorded in John's Gospel. He said, look, this is what I'm doing for you. You should treat each other the same way. So being humble, being servants of one another is not an optional extra if you're a Christian. We are called to live like that. And in 21st century Western culture, let's face it, that makes life a bit difficult. Because 21st Western century, you know what I mean, 21st century Western culture expects people to be pushy, push themselves forward, promote themselves. This is how you get on in the world. Jesus seems to be saying that this is not how he wants us to act. Sorry, he doesn't seem to be saying that. He is most definitely saying that. He wants us to show a completely different way of going. He wants us to be humble, not push ourselves forward, not promote ourselves. So how are we going to get on in the world if we actually start behaving like that? Well, the answer is that that's God's business, how we get on in the world. Our business is not to get on in the world. Our business is to get on and serve in the kingdom of God. And we don't need to worry about whether or not we're going to get on in the world. That might sound difficult, but if we really believe in God, if we really trust in God, then we trust that he's going to look after us, that he's going to lead us along the path that he has for us. And we don't need to worry about being seen as being different. One last thought, that is, if you are truly humble, you might think that somebody who is truly humble isn't going to be noticed, isn't going to stand out in the modern world, in say, the corporate world. I've got a suspicion that in actual fact, if you were genuinely humble in the way that Jesus asks us to be and sets the example, then you would stand out. You would really stand out. A really humble person would be a good team player. Every employer wants to find people who are good team players. Just a thought. Thank you.